to my webinar on addition in Key Stage 2. The purpose of this webinar is to show how we teach addition from Year 3 up to Year 6. I will discuss key vocabulary and methods, as well as outlining how we develop the children's understanding of addition. Some key phrases that we teach in Key Stage 2 include partitioning, the breaking up of larger numbers into smaller, more manageable chunks. Counting on, using jumps on a number line where the numbers have been partitioned, and column method. There are two forms of column method, with and without exchanges, otherwise known as querying. Partitioning is a mathematical strategy that helps children in Key Stage 2 break down numbers into smaller, more manageable parts to solve problems, especially in addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. It's a way of simplifying problems by breaking down numbers into their place value components, such as tens, ones, hundreds, thousands, and so on. Partitioning involves splitting a number into parts based on place value. For example, the number 45 can be partitioned into 40 and 5. This helps children understand how numbers are made up and makes calculations easier. When adding two numbers, students can split each number into tens and ones, or hundreds, tens, and ones for larger numbers, and then add each part separately. For example, 45 plus 37 is the same as adding 40 and 30 and 5 and 7, giving you 70 plus 12, and your total is 82. Benefits to using partitioning include building a stronger sense of number, developing mental math skills, and preparing for more complex calculations. Counting on using a number line is a helpful strategy for children in Key Stage 2 to understand addition, subtraction, and number sequences. Counting on is the process of adding numbers by starting from a number and moving forward on a number line. Instead of starting from 0 or another number and counting up in ones, the student counts on from a given starting point by adding the value that they need. In this example, we can see that the child starts at the number 23 and makes 5 additional jumps, landing on their total of 28. This is a helpful strategy for larger numbers as well, as shown in the example. Rather than add the large value, such as 400, the child has partitioned the number into two sets of 200 and made 2 jumps up the number line from 3,825 to 4,025, and then again up to the total of 4,225. The bar model for addition uses rectangles or bars to represent the parts of an addition problem and how they combine to make the whole. The bars can be split into smaller sections to show the different parts of the numbers being added. Bar models are great for illustrating problems where two parts are combined to make a total, and here's how they can be used. The whole is represented by a long bar, shown here as the number 43. Parts that add up to that total are represented by the smaller bars that fit together to make the whole. They're shown here by the number 28 and the number 15. They can be used really well when looking at worded problems. For example, Sam has 28 marbles and then he gets 15 more. He connects the two bars up and it shows 43 bars in total. The column method for addition is a way of lining up numbers vertically in columns based on their place value, ones, tens, hundreds, and so on, to make adding them easier. For Key Stage 2 students, this method is introduced without carrying or exchanges, which simplifies the process at first. Start by writing the numbers you want to add one under the other, ensuring that the digits are lined up according to their place value. Start with the rightmost column, shown here in red with the ones. In this case, we're adding 4 and 2, which gives a total of 6, and we record that underneath. Follow this process until each of the columns has a final total. You can see here that there is no carrying over. The column method with exchanges, sometimes known as carrying, is a more advanced way of adding larger numbers, and it's a crucial skill for Key Stage 2 students, as it allows them to add numbers where the sum of the digits in one column can be greater than 10, requiring them to carry the extra value over to the next column. When the sum of the digits in one column is 10 or more, you carry the extra value to the next column. For example, if you were to add 4 and 7 in the ones column, as shown here, the total would be 11, And since 11 is more than 10, you write down the 1 in the ones column and carry over the 10 into the next column, exchanging them. Continue to do this until you have a total. You can see here in the yellow column, which represent the tens, that we have one set of 10 and four sets of 10. We've added those together, but we haven't forgot to add the exchanged 10 shown at the bottom, which gives us a total of 6 rather than 5. Once the children have mastered using manipulatives, such as counters or base 10, they move on to the formal written method, which looks like this. It's important to ensure that each value is written in the correct column, otherwise the calculation will be incorrect. It's important to note that all children in Key Stage 2 will use this method at some point in each year group, but that as they progress higher up the school, the calculations will become longer and more complex. Thank you for taking the time to watch this webinar, and I hope it's proven helpful in supporting the learning of addition in Key Stage 2.